There's a massive blind spot that is costing franchisees thousands of dollars, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. I mean, this is something that is going to cost you your business potentially if you don't pay attention to it. And it's right in your pocket. Today, we're going to talk about how you can go about auditing a restaurant franchisor's social media presence and to see if that content and that engagement is genuine. So I'm going to give you a couple tips and tricks on how to evaluate it. This way, you know what you're investing in and you're not wasting hundreds of thousands of dollars before you even open the doors. Otter isn't just a POS. It's the operating system for your restaurant. With Otter, you can manage in-store and online orders, update menus, and track sales across all your channels from one single dashboard. Otter helps restaurants grow. Built-in loyalty, automated marketing, and tools that help drive repeat customers. Plus, with Otter Revenue Recapture, you can automatically dispute delivery chargebacks, helping recover thousands in lost revenue over time. From kiosks and kitchen display systems to handhelds at the table, Otter's hardware is designed to keep both the front and back of the house running smoothly. Join thousands of restaurants switching to Otter to simplify operations, save money, and scale smarter. Visit tryotter.com or click the link in the show notes. All right, guys, welcome back to Close Monday. I'm your host, Kyle and Sarah, and today we're talking about social media and restaurant franchises. What's there to talk about, right? They should be making content. It should be appealing to customers. It should be getting people in the door. Agree, 100% agree. But I think what most of you guys are missing is the real impact of that presence, that digital real estate, and how it can help you at the franchisee level make a ton of money. And this came up today because I'm dealing with a group that has a really large social media following and how we're leveraging that into driving demand for the brand in multiple different markets. It is without a doubt one of the most impactful things that a landlord is looking at when considering us for a tenant. So I figured it would make sense to jump on here and kind of talk about it. So you're about to invest in a restaurant, and let's just say you've got 3 or 4 brands that you're considering, and you're kind of having a tough time making a decision. And social media is obviously one of the things you're probably looking at. I hope you're realizing that how important it is. But nobody's really coaching you on how that social media presence and the engagement and the comments and the followers and the following really is sort of a financial statement. I don't really know another way to put it, but this is what it is. It really has become that for these. Think about it. Social media content, the comments section specifically, is really going to tell you a lot about what this brand is made of. Is there real demand here? Do the customers actually love it? Is there energy? Is there momentum behind this brand and this content? Or is it just really all just glitz and glam and content and just really throwing shit at the wall in an attempt to appear, right, better than they are or more in demand than what they actually are? And just like financial debt, there's such a thing as digital debt too. Think about it. I mean, think about the fact that anybody can just start creating content, post 1,000 times a day, and make it seem like it's in high demand. Fake followers, bots doing engagement, any of that stuff could appear in your potential franchisor's content. So I would really encourage you to do this work before you sign that franchise agreement. So let's talk about how you can go about identifying one of these sort of paper tigers. So a paper tiger is something that looks impressive when you look at it. But if we dig into it, you really take a look at it, you can see that there's not much there. It's typically like a lot of followers, not a lot of engagement. All the comments are a ton of emojis or very, generic sort of commentary. Love this, looks great, see you soon, anything like that, okay? But if a brand has real engagement, a real audience, you can tell quickly. If you had them side by side, and you guys probably know what I'm talking about, you can tell that that's not a bought audience. That's a real audience. And that's something to really prioritize. I mean, more so than a lot of other aspects of the business, in my opinion. That's very tough to build. That is real, genuine passion for a brand. And that's something that matters when you're going to invest in a restaurant. So, first things first is you want to make sure that there's real engagement from a real audience. Okay. Second, if there's just disabled comments or certain features of the Instagram or TikTok that are not really active or have not been completely filled out, that's another red flag. All right. A real, genuine brand is going to have their bio filled out. They're going to have their locations in sort of like a link tree maybe, or they're going to have really detailed, fun descriptions in their Instagram profile. Again, if you've done more than 2 minutes worth of research on any one of these social media platforms, you can probably sniff this out. But in case you haven't, you want to make sure all of that stuff kind of checks out. I mean, you can even go as far as to clicking into those links onto the link tree or the stand store, whatever they have there, and to see if those links actually work. Because if they don't, I mean, what are we talking about? Any brand that's really trying to sell their business and grow their footprint is going to make sure that they have very valuable information in there because they want you to click on it. They want you to see it. So that's number two. The third one, see if anybody is tagging them. Okay. And when I say tagging them, I mean, if you go like on Instagram or if you go to TikTok, all the way to the right, you can see where people are creating content and tagging them, right? But if nobody's tagging them, or if you search their hashtag, or if they don't even have a hashtag, that's another big deal. It sounds crazy. Like even as I say it, it sounds like, does anybody really care about this? I mean, we're talking about a restaurant brand. We should be talking about real estate, operations, and fundamentals, EBITDA. But that's what this episode is really all about. This is something that is intangible, right? But very relevant right now. And finding a way to quantify it cannot be easy. But these are three things that will kind of really, really make sense to you once you start digging in. So if you've never done this, grab your phone tonight before you go to bed and start taking a look at the brands. You have those brands that you've kind of already identified. You feel comfortable with the investment. Now look at their social media and compare them side by side. So check the follower to engagement ratio. See if they have any sort of generic comments or profile photos that are just kind of, I don't know, just seem like AI. They don't seem real. You're trying to build a community. If that doesn't exist in the profile and in the comment section, then something's off. And then third, just check to see if anybody's tagging them. Or if nobody's tagging them, that should be a big issue. Real brands are getting tagged without being asked. They're not running some sort of promotion all the time to be tagged. That's proof of concept, in my opinion, particularly on the digital side. Only on the digital side, really, right? So I think you want to be in a position where you're proud to tag them in your own personal social profile, right? Franchisees posting their own content is in a whole other episode, but it's a massive opportunity for you guys. But let's make it. All right, guys, I want to jump in and just give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Otter. You need to understand something. You know how I feel about technology and how it's going to help you grow and scale. Otter is the epitome of that. It's so much more than a POS. It is like mission control for your restaurant. You're able to manage all your third-party delivery apps, Uber Eats, DoorDash, all of them in one place. You can update menu items. You can 86 things. You can even stay on top of reporting across every single platform in one dashboard. If you're trying to grow, you don't need more complexity. You need more simplicity. Otter also helps increase revenue by offering commission-free online ordering, loyalty tools, automated marketing. And on the reputation side, Otter can automatically respond to customer reviews, which really helps you stay on top of your online presence with much less effort. I know you guys are running around all the time. I get it. I've been there. You can manage your entire restaurant with the Otter Go app. Do all the same things. 86 items, check sales, practical. Let's give you 3 things that you're going to get serious about before you do sign that check. And that taggable thing, to me, is real. And when you're looking at the tagging, you're just going to pull up the brand and you're going to scroll for 60 seconds. What are you seeing? Are you seeing real people, real meals, real experiences, real comments? Or is it just brand generated stuff? I mean, there are a couple brands that I think about off the top of my head. I don't want to give them a shout out, but if you scroll for a little while looking at it, you'll see the difference between user generated content or brand generated content on that tagging and sharing content for this particular brand. They're telling you that they want to be associated with this. That's a huge compliment. It's a massive compliment. So if we're getting real practical about it, that's one of the first things I want to look at. That's what I would prioritize. Number one, are they taggable? Number two, this is not a social media thing, and it's not really anything that, there's so many brands and so many different ways to handle this now. It's curious to see how different franchises are handling it, if at all. Some are not doing it at all, but how are they handling feedback, particularly negative feedback? 1-star reviews, bad experiences. I'm never going back. This was the worst ever. An unfortunate picture of some food where the bun slid off and everything looks messy. Of no fault of the restaurant, possibly, right? How are they handling that? That's a huge thing. That's a massive conversation for years, for like the last 2 or 3 years. And still, I see a lot of brands not responding to negative easy for me to say, negative feedback. But you have to. You absolutely have to. So a brand that responds timely and professionally and with empathy, that's a huge thing. It's a really, really huge thing. A brand that complains or puts it back on the guest, which is crazy. My ex-partner did that. That's a pattern that you're going to be living with as a franchisee. That behavior is now associated with you. So think about that. Think about if that's something you want to get involved with. And most importantly, remember that your audience, your customers rather, and your audience, they're going to see you. They're not going to go blame corporate. They're going to go look in corporate's face. They're going to look at your face and say, hey, you did this. How are you going to fix it? How are you going to make it better? So that's number 2 in your practical checklist. Tagging and how they respond to negative feedback. And then this is difficult for the franchisor side, and I completely get it. Not sure how they really handle it, to be honest with you, but are they consistent across all their markets? Or are they favoring one market over another? So let's, as an example, say you're going to invest in 1-2-3 ice cream, and they allow you to create a brand page for your own store. So you're opening up in Dallas, Texas, and you're 1-2-3 ice cream in Dallas, Texas, and that's your handle on social media, on Instagram, on TikTok, Facebook. That's you. Now look at some other brands, other markets. What does that content look like? Do some look like they're taken like with a flip phone, and some look like they're highly produced and massive following with tons of engagement? I personally think that lack of consistency stands out. And it's telling me that there's no guidance coming from the franchisor. Now, I completely understand that some franchises don't want that to be out there. They don't want individual brands handling, individual markets rather, and individual franchisees handling their marketing. But if they do, it's kind of weird to me. Why are you letting this happen? Why are you allowing these markets to have such different content? It's a real question mark for me, because you do so much work to protect the brand and to say, hey, you know what? This is what I think about our brand and how we should present ourselves and how we show up, not only in the restaurant, but on social media. But I'm not going to say anything about that store over here that the content looks like crap and the lighting's not great and the food is not presented properly. What if that happened in the store? You could bet your ass if they got consistent reports of that happening in a store, they'd be there to fix it. Why are they not doing it for their social media? Which you can make the case is more impactful than a store. The odds of somebody going in a store and not buying something are minimal, right? You're probably going to go into the restaurant and go, we'll try it. And then hopefully, they come back. But the way algorithms are today, anybody could see it. And they're going to be like, oh, this place looks like shit, right? How you show up on the phone matters more. The phone eats first. That's what they say, right? Never been more important. All right, so just to wrap this all up, because I hope I didn't scare you. I hope you're not looking at 4 brands and you're like, oh shit, they all have bad social media. What am I going to do? This isn't about scaring you. It's about opening your eyes and just taking a look at what's out there and realizing that there are some new aspects to this business that you're not taking into consideration. Everybody always says you can tell the difference between a more experienced franchise group and how they handle certain things. This is one of them. I just don't happen to hear about social media. It's often like a throwaway or just mentioned, and people are like, oh, that's nice. You have a large following on TikTok. I don't know what you're laughing at, right? We got 55 units in development. We've only been around 3 years. So, I mean, those stories are going to become more and more common. And I think as social media continues to evolve, it's going to be really impactful in how successful your business is as a franchisee. And if the brand does have a weak digital presence, you got to ask, like, hey, what's the plan here? What are we doing? I've noticed, 1-2-3 ice cream, we're just not really standing up to ABC ice cream. What support do you guys include? Is it being ignored? Does it exist? Does it not exist? Is there a plan to implement something? At a minimum, they should be offering you templates. Not my favorite thing, not something I would personally invest in, but are they helping you with some sort of co-branding on the national level? That'd be awesome. Find out what it is. They could be in the process of fixing it. They may feel weird about it. It is sort of outside the realm of what these guys typically like to deal with, so I get that, but it matters. Because conversely, a brand that has a strong social media presence and authentic, and people are connecting with the person in front of them, that's the one that's going to make moves. I mean, shout out to my man, Fry the Coop. Okay, Joe Fontana. I'll shout him out. He's not a franchise, but he's in front of that camera every day. And if he was going to franchise, I know who I'm talking to. I know what he's all about because I learned more about that business watching these 15-second TikToks than I would reading an FDD. He's not a franchise. Not sure that's super relevant, but you get it. If there is a franchisee or franchisor rather putting out that type of content, that matters. You're not just buying a business, right? A franchise is an asset, and you're buying into the brand's equity. Make sure you're pricing that accordingly. Make sure that value makes sense. When you're evaluating these 3 or 4 options, my point here is simply this: add the social media and the digital footprint to your due diligence process. In my mind, it belongs right next to the FDD, right next to it. So to bring it to a close, the P&L is the starting point. The comment section, the digital footprint, and the content itself, they tell the real story. You need to look at both before you sign anything, and definitely before you send any money. All right, if this episode changed how you think about evaluating franchises, or it gave you a new perspective on your due diligence process, share it with a franchisor. Share it with a franchisee who's in this discovery phase. Bring these questions to your discovery day. They'll love that, because you never know. This might be the one missing piece that they've been waiting to hear. All right, guys, thank you for your time, and I will see you next week.